So the plan is, boys, we will look at everything that is going to be new and everything that's going to be changing on the November patch, basically. So we'll run through them, things that we want to look at. Like, for example, the Void Gauntlet. I don't particularly want to go through all of this because we've done it on another video. So we'll skip that. Okay, so the Warhammer, something that I use quite a lot. The goal with several of the Warhammer buffs was to make the Juggernaut tree power stand out a bit more from the Crowd Crusher tree, as well as funnel some of the power of Shockwave's rend to the Armor Breaker's rend. Okay, Armor Breaker. Adjusted hitbox to make it easier to hit enemies that have been knocked down or on inclines. You would find that if you're fighting on a staircase or, you know, fighting outside Everfall, you would get caught, basically, and you wouldn't be able to hit them. Lasting Trauma. Increased rend effectiveness from 15% to 20%. Opening Act, increased bonus damage from 15 to 25. Let's go Armor Breaker. Jeez. Mighty Gavel, increased damage scaling from 160% to 170%. Reduced the cooldown from 22 seconds to 20 seconds. Justice for All, increased damage scaling from 200 to 220%. So they're kind of like minimal adjustments, so you probably won't see them visually. Let me get my hammer out. Let's have a look. I've never used this. Probably more of a small scale. Yo, to be honest, I've never used this ever. I need someone to fight against, boys. I need someone to use it on. Mighty Gavel. Increased damage scaling from 160 to 170%. Reduce the cooldown from 22 seconds to 20 seconds. Justice for All, increased damage scaling from 200% to 220%. Probably one of the cooler looking moves, I think. So it's gone. Let's make sure that the cooldown is 20 seconds, should I say? And it is. Well, that's working. Clear Out. Oh, excuse me. Wrecking Ball. Increased damage from 120% to 130, and then safety measures increase fortified buff duration from 4 to 7 seconds. Okay, and then the other tree, we got Clear Out, Shockwave, and Path of Destiny. So Clear Out, swing away, fix an issue where this upgrade was less efficient when striking more targets. Bloody hell, Clear Out is epic already. Shockwave, Thunder and Shockwave, item perk. Reduce the maximum rend effectiveness from 20% to 10%. There goes my main hammer. I am using Thunder and Shockwave on my current weapon. And then Path of Destiny, Leeching Path of Destiny item perk. Fix the bug that prevented this perk from working when the stimulated reduction modifier was equipped. So obviously we can't show that because we don't have the weapons with the perks on, but just in case you haven't seen them. That should Clear Out. Shockwave and Path of Destiny. That's the changes to the Warhammer actives, and the passives they've got here. Exhaustive attacks, increased stamina regen, generation penalty applied by the exhaustive debuff from 15 to 20%. Alright, so life staff. This is quite a few changes here. The life staff adjustments are to funnel a bit of the healing power into light and medium equip loads, while reducing some of its power for the tank healing builds, as well as to make it easier and less confusing to properly target and heal the correct group members. So at the moment it feels a lot of people will be running heavy gear as a healer, and you're quite tanky as well. Sounds like quite clearly they want healers to be running in medium or light gear. Reduce the base healing by 20% to account for the increase in healing from equip load. So basically you need to be running medium or light. Targeted adjustments. Normalized all targeted healing spells and target lock on to have max range of 25 meters. Added out of range target healing functionality. Group UI will change color when target is out of range. That's pretty cool. If target moves out of range, spell will cancel and not cast on itself. Excuse me, on self. Trying to cast a targeted heal on a target out of range will display a target out of its range notification. So your equip load has some changes. So while wearing light armor, your dodge is a quick roll, blah, blah, blah. But you deal 20% bonus damage, which was also 20% healing damage. But now you get a 30% bonus healing damage while wearing light. So they've reduced it by 20% overall. But but the light equipped load users will get a 30% bonus to healing. There's also the bonus healing on medium. So while wearing medium weight armor, your dodge is a quick hop, as we know. You deal 10% bonus damage and 15% bonus healing. Crowd control debuffs you apply last 10% longer. Fix an issue where targeted heals activated using the ability key would not perform a direct heal on target. This is a big skill for everyone, isn't it? Sacred Ground, boys. Fixed an issue where Lifestaff Sacred Ground, VFX, and Tooltip stated it lasted longer than the actual duration. Fixed an issue that allowed the healing from Sacred Ground to be stacked from multiple sources if they were using different ability upgrades. Reduced the Fortify effectiveness of Sacred Ground item perk from 3% to 15% to 3% to 10%. Reduced Holy Ground stamina and mana regen from 100% to 50%. Splash of Light. Increase the efficiency of the Lifestaff Splash of Light ability from 40% to 60%. Increase the efficiency of Flashlight's shared recovery upgrade from 3% to 5%. Orb of Protection. Fix an issue where the shared protection effect was being refreshed by the healing applied by the Protector's Blessing. Mending Protection item perk. This perk's functionality has been changed. Instead of triggering if the target does not have any active buffs, it now triggers if the target heal bow protection is under 50% health. Light's Embrace. Increase the efficiency of Light's Embrace connection upgrade from 1 to 2%. Oh, jeez. Passive. So Bless the item perk. Reduced healing bonus effectiveness from 10 to 30% to 5 to 20%. Alright, boys. The Hatchet. The infamous Hatchet. One thing that we found out. What's the Hatchet, boys? Fucking disappears, doesn't it? Fucking straight up disappears. Before we get into the changes, there are clearly things that are not ideal and are not fully working on the PTR. That being one of them. Okay, so the Hatchet. The goal of the Hatchet fixes were to fix a few of the issues that were resulting in missed hits, and to buff the throw-in axe tree to make it more useful, and to buff the infected throw ability to make it more viable as an anti-healing ability, as well as improve the buffering for heavy attacks to make them more consistent to use. So this was like the only way to reduce target healing, or currently is the only way, right? As far as I'm aware, there is potentially some more perks and stuff coming out. We'll have a look at them in a bit, but this was the only way for the infected throw. Mate, look at that for a shot, dude. Standing up fucking on its bottom. Oh, I'm a professional, man. So that's good. It would be nice to see some more hatchets going around. Not because they do extreme damage, but because we can use them to reduce healing as well. Okay, so what have they fixed? Fixed an issue where aimed throw could be used to cancel basic attacks at any time. Fixed an issue where the hatchet heavy attacks were not buffering at a consistent time, resulting in attack resistance not functioning properly. Fixed an issue where, when using the hatchet, if the player homed in on a target, the player would be moved to a spot far enough away from the target that the hits could miss due to the hitbox sizes. I'm glad that things are being fixed. Okay, so some of the abilities, boys. Berserk. Fixed an issue where activating Berserk would consume the Relentless Fury and the accumulated power power buffs. Excuse me. Feral Rush. Fixed an issue where Feral Rush was able to be triggered without a cooldown in settlements. Fixed an issue where some attacks would miss due to being placed too far away from the target hit. Okay. Here we go. So Infected Throw. Increased disease and weakness duration from 5 seconds to 10 seconds. Mortal Power. Increased bonus duration on low health targets from 8 seconds to 15 seconds. And Aerial Transmission. Increased duration that the AoE cloud lingers in place from 3 seconds to 6 seconds. There she is. Still doesn't feel powerful enough, but be interesting to see this actually in the live game, in wars, in open world PvP, and seeing how this works. And then finally, rending throw, reduced cooldown from 15 seconds to 8 seconds. And then the passive fixed an issue where the Hatchet defied death ultimate cooldown time was being removed when a player died. Alright, that's the Hatchet, boys. The great attacks. Fixed several issues that were affecting various abilities, as well as fixing a few issues that were making Gravwell slightly more powerful than intended. We love the Gravwell, eh, boys? Okay, firstly, Reap. Fixed an issue with the Gravity incorrectly triggering a breakout dodge. Gravity Well. Fixed an issue where slow effect from Gravwell was not always being removed if player was able to get out of the area effect, resulting in the effect lasting up to 2 seconds longer than intended. Fixed issue where the Gravwell tooltip wasn't listing the melee damage that the ability would trigger. Okay, so it's fixes. It's not like we're going to get 500% more damage on our Gravwells. That's good. Whirlwind. Added grit to Whirlwind by default. I'm going to go get myself a Whirlwind. Fortifying Whirlwind item perk. Fixed an issue where this perk applied to too many stacks of Fortify, resulting in it going outside of the cap of the Fortify clamping. It's good. Passives. Heavy Pull. Fixed an issue where heavy attacks would have incorrect hitboxes when the passive was equipped. Updated the gravity passive to no longer increase the duration of all pulls. Ability was not functioning as intended. Updated the ability to now apply root for 0.25 seconds to targets affected by a pull. I think out of everything that we say here, based on kind of what we've experienced within our company, Sheng, a big part of this is no matter what's written here or no matter what we say, it's always best to just do your double checks yourself. We have obviously come across people in the past that say something is what it is, but actually in game it isn't. So it's worth checking it out and just going through all of these yourself on the PTR. Okay, Elbow. So, added some additional clarity to some of the abilities and reduced the cooldown / power of some of the abilities to make them a bit more viable. We have seen this on the PTR. It does a lot of damage. El Poison Shot. I would like to play the bow a bit more, man. It's fun. Fucking arrows in the face. Anyway, moving on. So the poison shot got a cooldown and fixed an issue that could cause the poison without the ability being fired. And then rapid shot reduced the cooldown from 20 seconds to 14 seconds. Rapid fire accuracy fixed an issue where this upgrade would not reduce the cooldown if the last arrow of rapid shot killed the enemy. Rain of Arrows is no longer hits enemies through doors. Passive fixed an issue where hip firing with the bow was triggering the heightened precision passive from the Musket ability tree. What? I think that's it, really. Doesn't seem like they've changed too much. Anyway, that's the bow. I've never really been a mega fan of the bow. I enjoy shooting it, but I've never really been a fan of like actually really using it. Okay, so the sword. The main goal of the change to the sword shield was to make the leaping strike ability feel a bit better, as well as improve the buffering for heavy attacks to make them more consistent to use. If you guys watch Troy, it reminds me of old Brad Pitt in Troy doing his fight outside the gates. Fuck. Okay, so what did they change? Fixed an issue where basic attack buffers and cancels weren't working properly during the sword heavy attack. Fixed an issue with where the fully charged sword heavy attack had different timing than the regular heavy attack. Shield rush improved rush, increased weakened duration from 4 to 10 seconds. That's quite big. Leap and strike reduced cooldown from 25 to 18, increased damage scaling from 135 to 150, and sped up the recovery after using leap and strike to make it easier to transition into other attacks. Cowardly punishment updated the description to include the slow percentage value. Leap and strike. Whirlwind. Oh, I don't know if that was slower or not than before. I can't. Didn't use it too much. Okay, so that's the sword. Moving on, we got fire staff, spear, ice, rapier, musket, and then a few more bits to go through. About halfway there, boys. Fire staff. So, over the last few hours, especially this morning and yesterday, I've had a lot of people say to me, "What do you think about the fire staff debuff, man?" Thanks for the part. I haven't had an opinion on it yet. This is my first time reading through the changes. I've never really used the fire staff. So this is the first time really me reading it. So we'll go through it. Okay. So focus the changes on the fire staff to reduce some of the effectiveness of the standard attacks due to how powerful they are in comparison to some of the abilities. Pillar of Fire. Increased damage scaling from 134% to 170%. Fixed an issue where Pillar of Fire targets self when activated from the ability button. Fixed an issue where Pillar of Fire failed to trigger Runes of Helios when activated using the ability key. Finally, fixed an issue that caused Pillar of Fire to hit twice against targets near the edge of the effect radius. Glad that's fixed. Holy shit. Okay, Meteor Shower. Well, I don't think many of us use that. Fixed an issue where Runes of Helios triggered on targeting Meteor Shower rather than on casting it. Fireball. Added an additional clarity that Fireball ability is not able to crit. Previously, it would show the crit damage color, but not actually deal increased damage. It will no longer show orange damage numbers, and an additional tooltip was added. Flamethrower. Our favorite move, I'm sure, boys. It's actually kind of cool to look at. Increased damage scaling from 34% to 50%. And then the passives, there's quite a few here. Clear Casting, reduced damage bonus from 10 to 5. Clear Mind, reducing power effectiveness from 10 to 5. Runes of Helios, reduced damage bonus from 30 to 25. Prophet of a Fire God, reduced the crit damage bonus from 20 to 15. Spell Slinger, reduced the crit chance bonus from 15 to 10. Also fixed an issue where the crit chance was also increased for standard attacks and not just abilities. Pyromania, reduced the damage bonus from 20% to 15%. Kindle, fixed an issue where the passive was increasing buff duration and increasing buff duration by the incorrect amount. Reheat, reduced the time required without triggering an ability to trigger reheat from 6 to 4. Okay. Updated the Singe and Watch It Burn passives to mix up the functionality. Singe went from inflicting burn to critical hits to using the Watch It Burn functionality of triggering burn on light attacks. Watch It Burn now inflicts burn on critical hits from abilities only. Fuck me, that was a mouthful. Holy shit. We got there. And El Fire Stuff. Huska! Wee-hoo! Fuck yeah, that's cool, man. Fucking A, man. Okay, boys, onto the spear. So the goal was to buff some of the lesser used abilities as well as improve the modifier of the Coup de Grace upgrade to Sweep. Previously set up made it questionable whether or not it would be worthwhile to take. Okay, so adjusted the distance a player moved towards a target when doing a heavy attack. The heavy attack was pulling the user too close, resulting in the deadly reach passive not being able to trigger consistently. Whatcha? Sweep. Coup de Grace. Increased the damage scaling from 125 to 150. This attack is now flagged as a heavy, allowing it to trigger heavy-related passives. Skewer increased bleed damage from 10 to 20. Perforate increased damage scaling from 70 to 80. Fixed above, which caused passive continuous motion not to reduce the cooldown of Perforate. Cyclone increased damage scaling from 110 to 130. And Vault Kick fixed an issue where Vault Kick's cooldown began 1 frame before the hitbox would appear. This resulted in ability going on cooldown if the attack was interrupted early. Ice Gauntlet, so this has had a little bit of flack as well. Well, people coming into stream and giving the Ice Gauntlet some shit. I think we're all a fan of the Ice Gauntlet. It's pretty cool, man. Okay, so we'll blast through it quickly, boys. Goal with the Ice Gauntlet was to reduce effectiveness of some of the maxed out combinations of abilities while maintaining their usefulness. See that fucking meteor flying through the sky? That's cool, isn't it? Heavy attack. Increased heavy attack start and recovery time to make it consistent with other magic weapons. Fixed the issue where Ice Gauntlet movement while attacking was faster than other magic weapons. Fixed an issue where basic attacks of the Ice Gauntlet can sometimes shoot through a player or AI without dealing damage if the attacker is too close. And fixed an issue that allowed enemies with the heavy freeze passive to root players standing in their own Ice Storm. Alright, Ice Storm. Increase the time between ticks from 0.25 to 0.33. Fixed an issue where Ice Storm did no damage if the player had the Unending Thaw item perk. Fixed an issue where Ice Storm didn't do damage to enemies immune to slow. Fixed an issue where Ice Storm stopped if the caster swapped to their other active weapon. Fixed an issue that was causing Ice Storm not to damage larger boss enemies. Ice Spike! Fixed an issue where Ice Spike displays a cast timer despite being cast instantly. Wind Chill. Increased damage scaling per tick from 16 to 20. A big change, boys. Increased Ice Shower cooldown from 20 seconds to 30 seconds. Entombed players can no longer be healed. Reduced health of the tomb by to 50% of the player's max health. Reduced damage of Breakout Burst attack from 168 to 70. Oh, fucking hell, that's quite big as well. Fixed an issue where invulnerability on Entomb could be removed while the tomb was still active. Fixed an issue that allowed players to move while entombed after dying. What? There's some big changes there on the ice, boys. Ice Pylon. Increased the pylon health by 20%. Added a max lifetime of 45 seconds to the Ice Pylon. Fixed an issue where Ice Pylon could consume mana but wouldn't activate on slopes, terrain, or off a ledge. Fixed an issue that allowed players to place multiple Ice Pylons by dying and being revived. What? I didn't know that was a thing. Fixed an issue with Ice Pylon targeting neutral players' enemy hours during a 1v1 duel. Okay, passive. Ultimate Chill. Reduce the Ultimate Chill's bonus damage from 35 to 25. Fixed an issue where Ultimate Chill ability did not apply to enemies in some cases. Updated Ultimate Chill tooltip wording for clarification of functionality. Great. We love clarification. Critical Frost. Reduced critical change bonus from 20 to 15. Energized Critical. Reduced critical damage bonus from 15 to 10. Heavy Freeze. Added a 5-second cooldown to the freeze effect. Fixed an issue where Iced Refresh item perk could activate on both drowning and killing a player. Now it triggers only on drowning. Yeah, so I think the big one you guys are noticing in chat as well is the Ice Shower is obviously a big change there, and there's some big damage changes as well as we're going throughout. So Ice Shower is always something that you keep an eye out for, and you always do your best to avoid it, and you still will. I'm sure you will, but it feels like there won't be as many on the field. 10 seconds might not seem like long, but it also is. It's long. I would like to see this used more often. It's called the old pylon. Anyway, moving on. Rapier. Let's grab myself a little rapier at the bank here. Anyway, changes, boys. Changes. The goal of the Rapier changes was to fix some issues that were being encountered, as well as make it easier to work around the bleed effect. Easier to work around the bleed effect in the bleed tree by reducing the cooldown of Tondo and make Ripost's payoff a bit better due to the risk required to trigger it. Fixed an issue where Tondo, Flourish, and Fletch had their cooldown begin 1 frame before the hitbox would appear. This resulted in abilities going on cooldown if the attack was interrupted early, even if it did not hit. Flurry fixed an issue where subsequent attacks would frequently miss or be hard to hit when using Flurry by improving the homing on the attack. Overwhelm. I feel overwhelmed with all these changes, man. Fixed an issue where this upgrade was incorrectly applying stamina damage instead of just block damage. Tondo reduced the cooldown from 11 to 6. Fuck, that's a big cooldown change. And again, fixed an issue which causes upgrade to only function on blocking targets. Riposte. Cooldown reduced from 20 to 12. It's quite big as well. Base stun duration increased from 1.5 to 2. Lasting consequence. Stun duration increased from 2 to 2.5. Passives. Momentum. Increased the bonus damage from 25 to 30. Swiftness. Fixed an issue where this passive was granting haste from the bleed damage ticks instead of the actual weapon hits. It's cool, man. Lots of cooldown changes, really, isn't there? From 11 to 6, from 20 to 12. It's quite good. I don't often see the Rapier outside of kind of 1v1 scenarios, really, so it would be nice to see it used a bit more. All right, Musket. Holy fuck, that's not a musket, man. That's a bloody hand cannon. Look at that beauty. It looks fucking badass. Anyway, musket changes, boys. Okay, so the goal with the musket build was to make it feel a bit better to use across all levels and increase the use and effectiveness of several abilities. Okay, lots of cooldown changes by lots of things. Increase musket base damage by 2.5%. Fix an issue where the musket could not be reloaded after dodge rolling, then trigger an auto run. Fix an issue where the reloading would not automatically resume after interruption while player is aiming. Fix an issue where musket overcharged shots were not being consumed while hip firing while crouched. Okay, fix. That's good. Okay, so traps. Traps no longer can be triggered by players in death's door. Sticky bomb. Increased damage from 175 to 235. Let's get some sticky bombs in those big fights, boys. Stopping power. Reduce cooldown from 18 to 5. Power shot. Reduce cooldown from 15 to 12. Shooter stance. Reduce cooldown from 20 to 18. Added additional options to exit the shooter stance pose and ensured that players will return to standing when exiting stance. Players can exit shooter stance by pressing sprint, the ability key, dodge, escape, release the mouse button. Right. Awesome. Well, that is, boys. That's all the weapon changes.